So we discussed about the purity of devotional service yesterday, and we saw how devotional service is completely independent and is not dependent upon any other external cause. And people from all background can be raised to the highest level if they are initiated by a bona fide spiritual master and if they agree to follow rules and regulations of devotional service. So now we'll begin with the chapter 6. The title of this chapter is How to Discharge Devotional Service. So in chapter 2, we discussed about sadhana bhakti. Can someone tell the definition of sadhana bhakti? What is sadhana bhakti?
Engaging your mind and sense activity of Krishna consciousness.
Okay. What else? Anyone would like to add something?
Prabhuji, it is a systematic procedure through which we do devotional, through which we worship God and we manifest bhava.
Yes. So engaging our mind and senses into a systematic process which leads to awakening of bhava within the practitioner. So what kind of
It's like ornament
activities?
in our heart.
So what kind of activities that one needs to be engaged and which would lead to the awakening of bhava within one's heart? So this chapter 6 describes in the complete detail. Srila Rupa Goswami lists 64 different ways, 64 items of devotional service through which one needs to engage our mind and senses. Srila Rupa Goswami states that his elder brother Sanatan Goswami has compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas for the guidance of the Vaishnavas and therein has mentioned many rules and regulations to be followed by the Vaishnavas. So Srila Rupa Goswami is directly quoting from Hari Bhakti Vilas, which has been composed by Srila Sanatan Goswami. Some of them are very important and prominent, and Srila Rupa Goswami will now mention these very important items for our benefit. If someone's mic is on, you can please turn it on the mute mode. The purport of this statement is that Srila Rupa Goswami proposes to mention only basic principles, not details. For example, a basic principle is that one has to accept a spiritual master. Exactly how one follows the instruction of a spiritual master is considered a detail. For example, if one is following the instruction of a spiritual master and that instruction is different from the instruction of another spiritual master, this is called detailed information. But the basic principle of acceptance of a spiritual master is good everywhere.
मेरा चेक भी मिलेगा वो चेक लगेगा ना
Can you please put on the mute mode? Srila Rupa Goswami does not wish to enter into detail here, but wants to place before us only the principles. He mentions the basic principles as follows. Accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, becoming initiated by the spiritual master, and learning how to discharge devotional service from him. Third, obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. Fourth, following in the footsteps of great acharyas under the direction of the spiritual master. Fifth, inquiring from the spiritual master how to advance in Krishna consciousness. Sixth, being prepared to give up anything material for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This means that when we are engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, we must be prepared to give up something which we may not like to give up. And also, we have to accept something which we may not like to accept. Residing in a sacred place of pilgrimage like Dwarka or Vrindavan. 8. accepting only what is necessary or dealing with the material world only as far as necessary. Ninth, observing the fasting day on Ekadashi. And 10th, worshipping sacred trees like the banyan tree. These 10 items are preliminary necessities for beginning the discharge of devotional service in regulative principles. In the beginning, if a neophyte devotee observes the above mentioned 10 principles, surely he will quickly make good advancement in Krishna consciousness. The next set of instruction is listed as follows. So the first 10 were the all the do's, and the next 10 will be all the don'ts. Right? So anyone who did not read yesterday, you can continue, and if you would like to read, you can read from.
The next set,
Yeah, please.
the next set of instructions is listed as follows.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी मैं पढ़ूं
Mataji, someone is reading. You can read after him.
ओके प्रभु जी
The next set of instructions is listed as follows. Number one should rigidly give up the company of non-devotees. Number two, one should not instruct a person who is not desirous of accepting devotional service. Number three, one should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. Number four, one should not try to read too many books. No, nor should one develop the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Number five, one should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. Number six, one should not be under the spell of lamentation or in loss or jubilation in gain. Number seven, one should not disrespect the demigods. Number eight, one should not give unnecessary trouble to any living entity. Number nine, one should carefully avoid the various offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord or in worshipping the deity in the temple. Number 10, one should be very intolerant towards the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his devotees. Without following the above mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice. Altogether, Sri Rupa Goswami mentions 20 items, and all of them are very important. Out of 20, the first three, namely accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, taking initiation from him, and serving him with respect and reverence, are the most important.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
The next, Hare Krishna.
So the first 10 items, all the do's. The next 10 items, all the don'ts. So in total, these 20 items are of primary importance. Out of the 64, these 20 are of primary importance. Now, the first one, it begins with which step? What is the first principle? What is
Shelter.
yeah? What is the first
Think the
item in
shelter,
devotional?
accepting the shelter of
भक्तों की
the lotus
संगीत
like
का श्रद्धा पूर्वक
shelter of a spiritual.
Yeah. So it is said to be the most important. Why is that?
because guru can only connect us to the god
Okay, yeah. So it is most crucial because this one particular item will open the door of remaining 63. So until and unless one accept the shelter of bona fide spiritual master, will not be able to do the other. It's a spiritual master who guides us in how to accept, how to execute the remaining 63 items of devotional service. Right? Because Guru will instruct us in the significance of devotional service, in the significance of these items of devotional service, and how to follow them. So that is why the first one is the most crucial and most important. Okay, someone else can continue. Mataji wanted to read, please continue.
The next important items are as follows. One should decorate the body with the tilak, which is the sign of Vaishnavas. The idea is that as soon as a person sees these marks on the body of the Vaishnavas, he will immediately remember Krishna. Lord Chaitanya said that a Vaishnava is he who, when seen, reminds one of the Krishna. Therefore, it is essential that the screen is gone. Therefore, it is essential that a Vaishnava mark his body with tilak to remind others of Krishna. Second, in marking such tilak, sometimes one may write Hare Krishna on the body. Third, one should accept flowers and garlands that have been offered to the deity and the spiritual master and put them on one's body. Fourth, one should learn to dance before the deity. Fifth, one should learn to bow down immediately upon seeing the deity or the spiritual master. Sixth, as soon as one visit a scroll down, Prabhuji. As soon as you visit a temple of the Lord, Krishna one must stand up. When the deity is being borne for a stroll in the street, a devotee should immediately follow the procession. In this connection, it may be noted that in India, especially in Vishnu temple, the system is that apart from the big deity who is permanently situated in the main area of the temple, there is a set of smaller deities which are taken in procession in the evening. In some temples, it is the custom to hold a big procession in the evening with a band playing and a nice big umbrella over the deities, who sits on decorated thrones on the cart or palanquin, which is carried by devotees. The deities come out onto the street and travel in the neighborhood while the people of the neighborhood come out of to offer prasada. The resident of the neighborhood all follows the procession. So it is a very nice scene. When the deity is coming out, the servitor in the temple put forward the daily accounts before them. So much so was the collection, so much was the expenditure. The whole idea is that the deity is considered to be the proprietor of the whole establishment, and all the priests and other people taking care of the temple are considered to be the servants of the deity. This system is very, very old and is still followed. So, therefore, it is mentioned here that when the deity is on stroll, the people should follow behind. A devotee must eat. A devotee must visit a Vishnu temple at least once or twice every day, morning and evening. In Vrindavan, this system is followed very strictly. All the devotees in all the devotees in town go every morning and evening to visit different temples. Therefore, during these times, there are considerable crowds all over the city. There are about 5,000 temples in Vrindavan city. Of course, it is possible to visit all the temples, but there are at least 1 dozen very big and important temples which are started by the Goswamis and which should be visited. Ninth, one must circumambulate the temple building at least 3 times. In every temple, there is an arrangement to go around the temple at least 3 times. Some devotees go around more than 3 times, 10 times, 15 times according to their vows. The Goswami used to circumambulate Govardhan hill. One should also circumambulate the whole Vrindavan area. 10th, one must worship the deity in the temple according to the regulative principles, offering arti and prasada, decorating the deity, etc. These things must be observed regularly.
Okay,
11th,
thank you. Thank you.
one must
That was done. So someone else can continue.
11. One must render personal service to the deities. 12. One must sing. 13. One must perform Sankirtana. 14th. One must chant. 15th. One must offer prayers. 16th. One must recite notable prayers. 17th. One must taste Mahaprasad, food from the very plate offered before the deities. 18th. One must drink Charnamrit, water from the bathing of the deities, which is offered to guests. 19. One must smell the incense and flowers offered to the deity. 20th. One must touch the lotus feet of the deity. 21st. One must see the deity with great devotion. 22nd. One must offer arti at different times. 23rd, one must hear about the Lord and his pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar books. 24th, one must pray to the deity for his mercy. 25th, one should remember the deity. 26th, one should meditate upon the deity. 27th, one should render some voluntary service. 28th, one should think of the Lord as one's friend. 29th, one should offer everything to the Lord. 30th, one should offer a favorite article such as food or a garment. 31st, one should take all kinds of rest and perform all endeavor for Krishna's benefit. 32, in every condition, one should be a surrendered soul. 33, one should pour water on the tulsi tree. 34, one should regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam and similar literature. 35th, one should live in a sacred place like Mathura, Vrindavan, or Dwarka. 36. One should offer service to Vaishnavas, devotees. 37. One should arrange one's devotional service according to one's means. 38. In the month of Kartik, October and November, one should make arrangements for special services. 39. During Janmashtami, the time of Krishna's appearance in this world, one should observe a special service. 48. One should do whatever is done with great care and devotion for the deity. 41. One should relish the pleasure of Bhagavatam reading among devotees and not among outsiders. 42. One should associate with devotees who are considered more advanced. 43. One should chant the holy name of the Lord. 44. One should live in the jurisdiction of Mathura.
Okay, thank you, Madhuri.
Thank you.
So someone else can continue who did not read yesterday also.
Can I read now?
Krishna.
Principles come to an aggregate of 64 items. As we have mentioned, the first are the primary 10 regulative principles. Then come the secondary 10 regulative principles, and added to these are 44 other activities. So altogether, there are 64 items for discharging the regulative practice of devotional service. Out of these 64 items, 5 items, namely worshipping the deity, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating among the devotees, Sankirtana, and living in Mathura are very important. The 64 items of devotional service should include all of our activities of body, mind, and speech. As stated in the beginning, the regulative principle of devotional service enjoins that all of our senses must be enjoyed in the service of the Lord. Exactly how they can be thus employed is described in the above 64 items. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami will give evidence from different scriptures supporting the authenticity of many of these points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is what is meant by devotional service. This is how we need to engage our body, our mind, and our words. This is what, if we do it, It will lead us to the highest platform of self-realization, love of God. And these are not just written out of one's own concoction, these are all based upon the Shastra. The next chapter will describe that in detail, where Srila Rupa Goswami will quote from different Vedic scriptures supporting these statements, which are ultimately quoted from Hari Bhakti Vilas, compiled by Srila Sanatan Goswami. And we would see that how Srila Prabhupada so expertly have arranged all these items of devotional service within our daily programs. If we just analyze this, if we let us just revisit these 64 items. So the first and foremost is accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of spiritual master. Then is becoming initiated, learning how to discharge devotional service. Third is to obey the orders of the spiritual master, following in the footsteps, inquiring jigyasa from the spiritual master. Sixth, prepare to give up anything material for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then seventh is the residing in a sacred place of pilgrimage, accepting only what is necessary, observing the fasting day on Ekadashi, which is so very important, and worshipping sacred trees like the banyan tree. Then the next, all 10 items, that is what you should do, and next 10, what you must not do. So you must not associate with non-devotees. We should give up. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada translate it as rigidly give up. Our association is the single most deciding factor in whether we will be successful in any field or not. What kind of association you have is a turning point. If you are associating with devotees, similar desires will develop in the heart, and if you are associating with non-devotees, similar desires would develop within the heart. Just few days back, Rukmani Krishna Prabhu was explaining in his class. One devotee went in Juhu. Srila Prabhupada was on morning walk, and while he was returning to the temple and sitting in the car, one devotee ran towards him. And just as if Prabhupada closed the door of his car, that devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important thing in spiritual life? And Srila Prabhupada replied by one word, desire. And what kind of desires we cultivate, we carry in our heart, it depends upon the kind of association we have. And these days, association is not simply physical association, it is determined by what kind of reading material we read, what kind of videos we see, what kind of audios we hear, right? It is determined by all the five sensory inputs. So the kind of content that you engage with the most, you know, it leaves a great impression within our minds and heart, and you'll see you'll develop the similar desires over a period of time. So then the second is one
Hare,
should not, yeah,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one question is there.
yeah, Mataji, just let me complete. We'll discuss in that.
Okay.
So second is about one should not instruct a person who's not desirous of accepting devotional service. This is again a very important thing. A person who's not desiring and you are unnecessarily instructing, it will further take that person away from Krishna consciousness. Third, one should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. How to understand this? In fact, Srila Prabhupada made the most costliest temple, the temple of Vedic Planetarium, Juhu temple, Vrindavan temple. How to understand that? So this is specifically pointing out if you are only interested in building the temples, costly temples, but you do not know the spirit behind it. What exactly is the purpose for those temples? It's about it's they're meant to glorify Krishna and propagate devotional service. Temple is not simply the building that we create. Temple is made by the devotees and is handled or is managed under the direction of a Goswami. Only then it carries its real significance. One should not try to read too many books, nor should one develop the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad. Yes, that is very important. If you read too many books from all the different organizations, different topics, different authors, especially related turning around the spirituality, and it leads, and that is not recommended actually. We have seen devotees who want to read books from ISKCON, from Gaudiya Mutt, from this Mutt, from that Mutt, from this author, from that author, and so on. Except Srila Prabhupada books, they want to read everything in this world. So one should be careful and should read books under the guidance of his guru. And again, to recite Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita simply to earn livelihood, oh, that is one should not develop the idea of doing this thing. One should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. Yeah, even the ordinary dealings are important. One should not be under the spell of lamentation in loss or jubilation in gain. This again these are so valuable. Even just one instruction can bring such transformation in life. So the other day we were discussing about the lamentation, or we become too jubilated when there is gain and lose track, or when there is some loss we start lamenting too much and again lose track. So balance. One should not disrespect the demigods. Yes, we do not worship demigods, but at the same time, no devotee has the right to disrespect the demigods. One should not give unnecessary trouble to any living entity. Yes, santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishya. There is another verse in the sequence of the same verse. Uh, he, the one, he is not. He does not put anyone in distress. Krishna says that devotee is very dear to me. So it's not says only about the Vaishnavas, to any living entity, not only about humans, but any living entity. A devotee does not want to give trouble to any living entity. Should be carefully avoid the various offenses. He should be very intolerant towards the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his devotees. So if you hear anyone blaspheming the Krishna or Supreme Personality or any of the devotee, we must fight back. And if you are not in the position to fight back, you don't want to engage, we must leave that place immediately. So Srila Prabhupada writes, without following these 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate in the platform of sadhana bhakti. So all of them are very important, and the first three are the most important. To accept the shelter of bona fide spiritual master, take initiation. So Diksha is very crucial element of devotional service. And third, to serve the spiritual master with respect and reverence. So all of the devotees who have not taken initiation so far, these is the first three items of devotional service. And if you really desire to advance in the path of self-realization, take a commitment, take the further steps, you know, aspire for initiation, take shelter of bona fide spiritual master, and take initiation. These are not optional things that Srila Rupa Goswami is writing. Okay, if you feel like, if you want, just check out and, uh, try to do that. No, these, he says must. These are three essential elements of devotional service. So then next items are all these items which are written, you can easily do it at home. To decorate the body with tilak, every single day after taking bath, this is the first thing that we should do. We should decorate the body with tilak, and with all the necessary mantras. There are 13 places on the body where we apply tilak, and all Vaishnavas, these are our real ornaments. You chant the, it's such a blissful practice to chant the mantras Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha. Yeah. Every day you'll be remembering Krishna and decorating the body of the tilak. So anyone who will see you, if you put tilak, will he'll be reminded of Krishna. And even at the workplace or schools or homes, if you can put the tilak, it's a very wonderful practice. And if you are hesitant and you are reluctant to put tilak, at least put a tilak with the watermark. If not with chandan, at least on the forehead you can put with the watermark, and at all other 12 places you can put with chandan. And it is said by those tilaks one may sometimes write Hare Krishna on the body. That's a separate point altogether. So one should accept flower and garlands of the deity and put them on one's body. One should learn to dance before the deity. Yes. Why Srila Rupa Goswami said one should learn to dance before the deity? Because that dance should be the pleasing to the deities. So there is a specific culture, there is a Vaishnav culture to dance and sing. It's not that, जैसे शादियों में डांस होता है, घोड़ी के आगे नाचते हैं, सारे किसी भी कोई भी कैसा भी एक्शन कर रहा है. That is not pleasing to the deities. So there is a specific Vaishnav culture. Therefore, one should learn how to dance before the deity in association with other Vaishnavas. The fifth one is one should learn to bow down immediately upon seeing the deity or spirit. Yes, you may think simply bowing down. It is such a simple act, but it just cultivates. It's one of the items of devotional service. You have an altar in your own home. If you have a picture of Krishna, you can keep a picture of Govardhan, Radha Kund, Sham Kund, all the devotional pictures, and bow down to them every day, and you'll make advancement in devotional service. So as soon as one visits a temple of Lord Krishna, one must stand up when the deity is being born for a stroll. Yes, one should immediately follow the procession. There are Harinam Sankirtans in many of the South Indian temples. If you go, you will see there is an evening procession every day, and that is such a blissful festival every day. And Prabhupada explains that in the detail what it is like, and it also describes the mood of Srila Prabhupada. He so very much wanted this to happen. And yes, a devotee must visit a Vishnu temple at least once or twice every day, morning and evening. And Prabhupada gave the example of Vrindavan. So every day we should try to visit temple once or twice. Of course, this is lockdown situation, corona, what can be done. But whenever we get the opportunity, don't be lazy. Come, visit temple. Just visiting temple, you'll be able to achieve all these things. You'll see. One must circumambulate the temple building at least 3 times, even 10 times, 15 times. One should worship the deity, offering arti and prasad, decorating the deity. If you have deities at home, it's so wonderful. You can do all this at home. You can circumambulate the deity, you can decorate the deity, you can offer arti, offer bhoga. And if you don't have deities at your home, then why don't you have deities at home? Bring deities at home. Who's stopping? Have deities at home. And if you are not in position to invite them, have at least some sort of lamination. Make a temple. Make a beautiful temple. One must render personal service to the deities. One must sing. Yes, one must perform Sankirtan. So all these items we can organize actually, and you can execute them at your home. One must chant, one must offer prayers, one must recite notable prayers, one must taste Mahaprasad, one must drink Charnamrit, one must smell the incense and flowers offered to the deity. So you will smell only when you will actually offer the incense and flowers. So first offer the incense and flowers. Touch the lotus feet of the deities. One must see the deity with great devotion. One must offer arati at different times. One must hear about the Lord and his pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar books. And one should offer a favorite article, yeah, food or garment. So whatever is favorite to you, you must offer it first to the deities. And whatever is favorite to the deities, that definitely you should offer. One should take all kinds of risk and perform all endeavors for Krishna's benefit. In other words, this is what is meant by preaching. When you go out on book distribution, there is so much risk that person will deny and it will hurt my ego and other risk also. So we should still do it. Simply pouring water on tulsi leaf. It is such an important element of devotional service. When the prostitute who came to Srila Haridas Thakur finally surrendered to him, Haridas Thakur gave him just two instructions. Srila Haridas Thakur told that prostitute, you please come, give away all your wealth, distribute them among Brahmanas, give up everything, come here, plant a tulsi tree, offer water every day, and simply by simply chant in front of tulsi. If you chant your 16 rounds every single day without interruption in the front of tulsi, Srila Prabhupada says at one place, you're sure to go back home, back to God. Simply chanting your rounds in front of tulsi or pouring water on the tulsi. One should regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam, one should live in a sacred place, should observe Kartik, Janmashtami, we should do with great care and devotion. And yes, the Bhagavatam should be read among devotees and not outsiders, not the professional kathas. There are so many musical kathas going on by the different speakers who may not be in the parampara. And it is very clearly mentioned. One must not do that. One must associate, one must relish the pleasure of Bhagavatam with devotees, not with outsiders. And one should chant the holy name of Lord, one should live in the jurisdiction to Mathura. So these are the 64 items. So this is what we discussed in this chapter. Krishna. So the first 20 items of primary importance, which are preparatory principles, then 44 additional items of service. The first 10 are pravritti, the next 10 are nivritti. The first 10, it strengthens one's foundation of pure devotional service. These are the most essential items. Why? Because Guru introduces to all other items of sadhana, and without avoiding these activities which are nivritti, this devotional foundation will corrupt and it will decay. So then 21 to 59 items, 59th number, these are the items of sadhana, and the last 5 are the most potent form, the most important form of devotional service. Right? So we'll discuss about this in the further chapters. So we'll stop here. If you have any question, you can ask now. Hare Krishna. I'm not able to hear you. Prabhu. So what is the question? Yeah. Sorry, the voice is cracking up. I'm not able to understand apart from banyan tree. Can you just type in the chat section? Mataji, you also had one question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
प्रभु जी, एज यू सेड कि हमें नॉन डिवोटीज का संग नहीं करना चाहिए, पर हमारे जो नेबरहुड में है या जिनके साथ कंटिन्यूअसली वी आर स्टेइंग विद देम, ठीक है, वी आर गिविंग आवर संगा टू देम, पर नोइंग और अननोइंगली वी आल्सो टेक सम ऑफ देयर क्वालिटीज, तो हाउ कैन वी अवॉइड सच थिंग्स?
How we can avoid such things? We can avoid such things if we can
Yes.
turn them into devotees. That's the best. If we cannot turn them to
And
the
so we make
devotees,
them devotees.
if we
We
cannot,
turn them to devotees, but still there are unwanted things which are coming.
if you are observing that certain kind of association is affecting you, then try to avoid that. If it is affecting you in a in terms of negative effect in negative way, then one must avoid that kind of association. It's as simple as that. That if you cannot avoid, if you are in a particular circumstances, so one must be very careful and that should be centered around only the basic whatever is doing the needful. That's all. And association specifically means the six forms of loving exchange.
Okay.
So Neelam Mataji has asked a question. Yeah, when one visits a Krishna temple, earlier times people used to visit even in the palanquins. So, but one must get down from the palanquin and one must stand up when you visit a Krishna temple. Whenever we come in the front of deities, even if you are being served by the servants, or in the earlier times, just like kings and the queens would go in palanquins. But when they are coming in the front of deities or they are visiting Krishna temple, they must stand up. Of course, if one has some sort of health issue, then whatever is the needful, we can do that. Yes, Ramanand Prem Prabhu, we do not worship banyan tree. Yeah, even I read this for the first time. I don't have a clear-cut answer to this question. I'll find out, Prabhu, about banyan tree. Of course, we don't worship for the material cause, but Srila Rup Goswami has mentioned here, and there are certain trees which are considered very auspicious for devotional service, and we worship them just like for the decoration, and in certain kinds of Vishnu pujas. So there's a part of worshipping them. But I can find out from in more detail and can get back to you, Prabhu. I don't have a clear-cut answer to that question. If someone else has answer to that question, you can please contribute.
His Grace, Babaji has told that instead of banyan tree, we can worship the tulsi tree.
Yeah, yeah, of course that we can do that. But here's Prabhupada specifically mentions about banyan tree. So in what context did he write? And so I don't have a very crystal clear answer to that, Prabhu. Any other thing? But the point is, the conclusion is all the other items are there. Whatever you are able to understand, you can execute them rather than being stuck on this one particular point. There are other so many things which we can do, and simply by doing that you'll attain perfection, right?